Let's take a look at 4-9. And we have been given the opportunity to calculate BEP, basic earning power, ROE, and ROIC. And so the first thing, let's see how we would calculate basic earning power. What I always like to do when I'm doing problems is to put right in front of me the information that I've been given. And I also have a list of the formulas that are throughout your book, the ratio uh, analysis formulas that are used. And so we have been given ROA, return on assets, is 8%, net income equals 600,000. And we know that ROA equals net income over total assets. And so from there, we just have to solve for that. We can easily calculate total assets because we have ROA and we have net income, 600,000. And so we can solve for total assets. And so I'm just going to let you, solve for that. If I have to give away what it is later in this recording, I will, that you can calculate it. But to calculate EBT, I'm sorry, basic earning power, which is EBIT, earnings before interest and taxes, over total assets, we still need to know EBIT. And so we're going to do what we do very often in finance, and we're going to start at the bottom because we've been given net income. And we're going to work our way back up because we know the tax rate is 35%. And so we know that earnings before taxes is, we'll take 600,000 and divide it by 65% to get EBIT. So 600,000 divided by 0.65 will give us earnings before taxes. And then you should always check your work and make sure that the taxes of 35%, that actually equals 35%, and everything checks out. So we have earnings before taxes, and then we have been given the interest. And so interest of 225,000. When we subtract interest from EBIT, we get EBT, so we can just add these two together. We can add 225 and 923,077, and that will give us EBIT. So we work our way back up the income statement to solve for EBIT. And so now we can solve for basic earning power because we know what total assets are. We know now what EBIT is, and we can solve for basic earning power. Now for what else do we have to do? ROE. We need to, we can figure out what common equity is from our total assets that we calculated above. And also, they give us information about accounts payables and accruals. So what I'd like to do first is I want you to remember that good old accounting formula, assets equals liabilities plus equity. Well, we know that we've got $1 million in accounts payable, and then we have some long-term debt and equity that we don't know yet. Another thing that we do know is that our total assets we solve for it. Back up here is 7.5 million. And so because of the accounting equation, we know then if I put this million in an AP over on this side, 6.5 million will equal our, what is called, this is the total invested capital. That's all our debt. I shouldn't just have long-term debt. I should also have any notes payables. Total invested capital is everything in liabilities that has interest attached plus equity. And so we know that 6.5 million equals our total invested capital. Let's see. The other thing we do know is that debt, this portion is 40% and this portion is 60%, because that's what they told us in the problem, that the company is financed through debt and common equity. There's no preferred stock, and it's 40% debt and 60% equity. So therefore we can actually get, if we can get our total debt and total equity. So for total debt, I'd take 40% times 6.5 million, and that gives me 2.6 million in total debt. And then for total equity, I could take 60% of 6.5 million, and that will give me 3,900,000 in total equity. And so look what we have. Our total assets down here then, I'm going to bring this 7.5 million back down here that you calculated for total assets, equals 1 million in payables plus 2.6 plus 3.9. And so now we have our whole balance sheet figured out, and now we know what our total common equity is. And now we can calculate ROE, because ROE equals net income over common equity. And so you can calculate that then. Net income we've been given is up here, and we have common equity is 3.9 million. So now you can calculate your ROE. Now for ROIC, I think we pretty much have everything we need. It is EBIT after taxes over total invested capital, and the total invested capital is 6.5 million, isn't it? 6.5 million. That's our 2.6, 3.9, 4.9, 5.9. Yeah, 6.5 million. That's our total invested capital. So we have that part of the equation. And we can figure out our EBIT by looking at our number here, but we need to figure out what that is after taxes. So we'll take our EBIT and multiply it by, we're in a tax rate of 35%. So we'll take EBIT and multiply it by 65%. And that'll give us our EBIT after taxes. And then we have our total invested capital of 6.5 million, and that'll give us our ROIC. And that's one way to approach that problem.